Hi. One thing people don't understand is that whether you're working in tech, you just got started, or you have already been here, it's very possible for you to access global opportunities without leaving the comfort of your home. I used to hear that complaint a lot, and you might just be searching the wrong way. Whether it's to access global jobs, global remote jobs that you can still stay in Nigeria or any part of Africa and work, or mentorship programs, fellowships and all that. You can actually stay in Nigeria, in your house, and access these opportunities, right? And the main purpose of this video is to walk you through various websites that you can do, some mistakes to avoid, and how to look out for these jobs that you can actually apply. Because one thing you should notice that because these jobs are posted in remote job websites or posted on LinkedIn, it doesn't necessarily mean that you should apply to all of them. There are certain things you need to look out for, and that is the main purpose of this video. So let's get straight into the video. This is the first website. It was previously called otter.ai, but now it's called Welcome to the Jungle. So it's a remote job website that can help you look for jobs, remote jobs, and you can actually apply. So if you click on you know remote jobs that you can actually apply to, first off, the reason why this is showing is because I had kind of customized my profile and adjusted a lot of things. So let's say you can actually adjust your profile with Welcome to the Jungle. So your location, do you need visa sponsorship, what languages do you speak, because these are the things that increases your chances, and it just matches you with jobs that you need. So the type of role you're looking for and basically every other thing. So Welcome to the Jungle will help you look for remote roles, especially if you're within the EU region. So look out for that. Then the next one is TrueUp. TrueUp.io basically helps you look for jobs that are hiring remotely as well. And now here are things that you need to put into consideration when you're searching for a job in a remote website. Always filter it to within the past 3 days. Most times you actually get higher chances of getting into a company or hearing back from the recruiter if you apply within the first few days of them. In fact, the first few hours of them posting that job or the first few days of them posting that job opening. You can filter it by category, location, your level, and every other thing. But one thing I should tell you is that when you're applying, do not add level, because companies think about this thing differently. In a particular company, you might be a mid level. In another company, working that same role, you might be senior. So you never can tell which level you fall under in a particular company. So just apply, and then you can select the company that you want to work for. So if you want to work for Google, Amazon, Microsoft, all those big companies, you can select Fang or Unicorn. These are all top companies that you could work for. Or if you're someone that is just interested in early startups, you want to, work with startups, you can also select that. So always make sure you select the right filters to be able to get jobs that work for you. And sometimes you get to see some jobs that will tell you remote, but then they put a particular location. Now you don't need to apply to that job, because when they say remote, let's say remote US, remote Sweden, remote Netherlands, it means that you have to be based in the Netherlands for you to work in that particular role. Some companies do have some security measures that they put in place that you cannot work outside of a particular environment. I mean, you can work remotely. They don't even need to see you in the office, but don't work outside of a particular environment. Sometimes it's usually security, because of security reasons and some other reasons. But there's no need for you to waste your time, except you have someone working in that company and tells you, okay, you know what, don't mind that. They are going to hire you regardless. And then there are also some companies that say hiring remotely everywhere. Those are the ones that you can apply to without necessarily stressing yourself, because they are going to take you regardless of where you are. Okay, so the next one that I usually use to scout for jobs, it's called work at a startup. So work at a startup mostly houses like different startups that you can apply to work, right? So they have, you can also see when this job posting was made. So you can check the one that, resonates with what you're doing and then apply. You don't have to apply to everything. Like I said earlier, make sure you look out for the ones that are hiring in the EMEA region or hiring everywhere remotely. Although a friend of mine once said that the A in EMEA is silent, but it's not silent for a lot of companies. So always filter. The next one is Himalayas. So Himalayas is also a remote job website that houses different kinds of jobs. So like this one was posted 8 days ago, 16 minutes ago, so 35 minutes ago. So you just need to, and they all have tags. So this one says part time. This one says Canada only full time, United States only full time, you know, so you keep scrolling and keep checking until you see the one that hires remotely. So this one says full time. It doesn't necessarily, talk about a particular country that you need to be based in. So these are also applications that you need to look forward to. Same thing with this one. You need to also look at this because in their descriptions they usually have something like, even if we are hiring remotely in the US, we can sponsor your visa. So still check the job description out. Even if you see a different country, you never can tell. They might just sponsor your visa to that country. The next one is Pangian. Pangian is also a remote website that does even more than finding you a job. You can upload your resume to get job matches. You can build your resume if you don't have. You can enroll in some training. You can see remote companies that are hiring, right? So these are also websites that you can need to check. This one now, for instance, talent pool, software engineering, remote. 10 days ago, remote worldwide. These are, websites, these are jobs that they hire remotely worldwide, right? So because you can see remote worldwide, Europe, APAC, Africa, North America, South America, Australia, and then even some other companies do that as well. So you have to check and have the time. You have to be signed into these platforms to be able to access the jobs. And a quick tip of what I do: whenever you see a company in a job website, sometimes the disadvantage with using these job websites is that sometimes they've not fully updated, their websites. They've not fully updated the experience of it. So all you need to do is, if you see a particular company that is hiring, I think what you need to do is check for that company, go to that company, use the URL, check for it, and you would be able to just go to their careers page and or careers page or jobs page, and you'll be able to see if they are actually hiring or if they've closed out on that role. Because half the time, most of these things, before they come and finish, before they update, they have to hear back from the company, or they have to monitor to see that the company has taken that role out of their website before they update it. So you might be applying to a role that has already been filled, right? So always double check, go to the company's website and confirm. Now the next one is product hunt. Now you might ask yourself, what how am I going to use product hunt to look for a job? Don't worry, big sister got you. So when you come to product hunt, there are various websites. This is a platform that almost all the companies in the world have been listed. So you're basically having access to all companies in the world at the palm of your hands. So what you need to do now is look out for the ones that interest you. Look out for, these are the ones that launched yesterday, maybe. So look out for the ones that interest you, go to their website, check out what they do, check if they have a careers page or a job page. Sometimes they do have that. Let's see if they have here. Most of them that just launched might not necessarily have, but others do have, right? So always make sure you go through some of these websites go to their company page, go to their careers page, and if they are hiring a particular role, you would see it and you'll be able to apply on time. The next one is indeed.com. This is specifically for people that are based in Nigeria, right? You can post your CV to get review or get matched with jobs, or you can just scroll through to see jobs that are currently, people that are currently hiring, how much they are being paid, and all of that. So indeed.com is another website you need to look out for. The next one you need to look out for is also Glassdoor. Glassdoor, I think, is international. So with Glassdoor, you can look out for jobs, you can see how much they are being paid, you can apply, you can see when they were being posted. So like this one was posted 24 hours ago, this one was posted 8 days ago. And then you can also search, right? You can upload your resume and just set up everything, and remote jobs will be, you know, sent your way if they find anything that matches your profile. And then the next one is daily remote. So daily remote helps you find your dream remote job. And again, they have tags. So always look out for tags when applying for, remote opportunities. These people are hiring a freelance writer part-time, and it was posted 3 days ago. They're gonna pay $50 per hour, and they are hiring remote worldwide. So if you're a freelance writer and you want to apply, you can actually just click on this and apply, right? But for you to have that double confirmation, you might say, let me check out what the company does. You can just check this out since they will not allow you to access that. So you can just check it out, search them on Google, go to their profile and see what they do. You can just go to job boards. Let's see if they have listed this on their job board. Oh, you need to log in. So this is a protected website that you need to log in before you access anything. But yeah, that's just pretty much how to do it. Copy the company's name, search on Google if you can't get their URL, so you know that what you're applying for is still open. Okay. So the next one to look out for is Job Together. Did I say Job Together? The next one to look out for is Job Getter. So with Job Getter, you can just get hired without even applying. So when you click on this button, I don't want to click on it because it's going to ask me to sign up. When you click on that button, they are going to take you through a few steps. So you need to upload your resume, talk about the kind of jobs that you're looking for, and every other thing that you need, and they're going to just match you. So that it's somewhat the same thing that Welcome to the Jungle does. Okay, and then you can also come to this tab for talent. Let me see, my network is a bit laggy. So okay, it's working now. So you can also come to for talent and you'd be able to see remote jobs. So for instance, you'd see project coordinator Vietnam, fully remote 30 days ago. So these ones are obviously expired, so you only look out for the ones that we posted at least within 3 days to 1 week. 1 week is too far, 3 days max. Okay, and then we have led by community. This is a job board for community builders. You need to be signed in or you join the community. If you join the community on Circle, you definitely access this without even being on the website. So led by community is our platform that posts all kinds of amazing job offers or job postings for community managers. So do join led by community. And then we'll also have CMX Hub still for community, the community managers job board. So if you're a community manager, you can always come to CMX Hub to see. So for instance, see there are some roles that have been posted today, so you can look at that and you would apply to what you want. And then there is Dynamite Jobs. So Dynamite Jobs is also a platform that helps you find remote jobs, and you can filter it within various skills. You can check. Some of these companies do pay. So some of these companies do pay to feature on these platforms, and then that should also give you a hint that if a company is paying to feature a job posting on the platform, it means that they can actually pay for referral. So don't just apply blindly. Also look out for people that are working in that company and ask for a referral. You can see when this has been posted, and probably you can just always click on it to open to read more about what it entails. So for instance, someone is looking for an executive assistant to the founder of Capital Pad. It's a full-time role and you'll be earning 2,000 to 2,500 per month, USD per month. And they're hiring in Eastern Europe. If you're in South Africa, you also get the opportunity to get hired as well. So always read through how and what it entails and apply. The next job website is We Work Remotely. We Work Remotely is one of those big job websites that you can find any and everything, right? So you go to all jobs. Again, you don't even need to sign in, but you can for a better experience. So they show you latest jobs posted about 5 hours ago. They already told you, you can see the tags, you can see where they are hiring. This one is hiring a client support specialist anywhere in the world. You can see where and how they're hiring. This one is hiring an accounts manager anywhere in the world, right? So you can filter this when you're logged in and apply to jobs that actually suit your needs. The next one is Jobspresso. Jobspresso, just like every other platform, will help you get a job. So you just need to filter in with the things that you want and you're good to go. Next one is Simply Hired. Simply Hired is also a website that helps you get jobs that you want. So they don't just start showing you jobs out of the blue. You have to customize this experience, or you upload your resume and they will match you with jobs, possible jobs. And then there is Working Nomads. So just like every other platform, Working Nomads does the job as well. So just check out for companies hiring remote anywhere. So this company Proxify is hiring a senior Ruby on Rails developer anywhere in the world, and it's a contract role. So let's just quickly open Proxify and see what they do. Company website. So this is Proxify. You can see what they do here. So let's quickly go to their footer. Sometimes they list it on their header. So let's go to their footer, click on careers, and you'll be able to read more about them, and you'd be able to see who they are hiring. So they are hiring a sourcing lead, remote anywhere in the world, business development representative. And you can just, if you don't see what you're looking for, you can send in a spontaneous application. Now remember what we saw here: senior SharePoint developer. Have you seen it here? No. That simply means that probably this job has expired or not. So it's good to always go to the company's website to look for what you want. Okay. So the next one is TopTal. So there is TopTal, which is a freelance platform. You're not necessarily applying here to get a job. You're here to freelance, right? And you have to pitch, you have to write proposals, you have to try to show clients that you're capable of doing what you say you can do. The next one is Freelancer, and we also have Contra. We also have Contra. So this is what Contra looks like. This is also a freelance platform. You just set up your project, your profile, and you'd be able to start getting opportunities. And then there is also Upwork. You need to set up your profile with your resume, your job history, your sample works, and they'll be able to show you opportunities in that level. And there's also LinkedIn. People underestimate the fact that you can find a job on LinkedIn, and let me just show you how. Come to the tab and say hiring, let's say hiring a technical writer or hiring a remote. So you can see, always filter to posts. You can filter to jobs if you want, right? Which you can just filter and see which ones are hiring in your region and apply. But you can always filter to posts. That's where you see people that have actually posted. Like this person said, we're hiring a technical writer. This was 19 hours ago that was posted, right? So always look out, filter for posts, and you'll be able to see where and what people are looking for. especially the post area, because those are human beings. Job boards are just customized for customizing sakes. Most times they don't even go back to it. But if you're able to interact with a human being that's posted, I think that would give you higher chances. And then we'll also have well found jobs. This used to be angellist.co, if you've ever heard of AngelList, but now it's well found. So you need to sign up on well found just like this, and then customize your search bar to get you opportunities that you're looking for. So yeah, this is another good one. I've actually had a couple of opportunities here as well, so you need to check this out. The next one is remote.co. Remote.co also has, website, jobs, a list, a bunch of jobs that you can apply, when they were posted, where and how to go about it. And then there's also flex jobs. Flex jobs, pretty much the same thing. You're able to check out job roles that matches your profile, and you're good to go. And then we also have we work remotely. So pretty much the same thing. I don't know if I have taken this before, but pretty much the same thing. They just post different job roles, and there is remoteok.com. So with remoteok.com, same thing. Check out for jobs that are hiring, where they are hiring, and finally there is Remotive. So Remotive as well would show you. So for Remotive, they kind of pull in, different jobs postings from different places, right? So you can see this one, Contra, the freelance platform that I just showed you, is hiring a logo designer, and they're hiring worldwide. So you can always check this out and apply to companies that are hiring, and that is pretty much it, right? So again, aside from looking for these opportunities, you need to really work on your resume, work on your portfolio, work on how you present yourself, because the same way that you're applying for these jobs, some other people are also applying. And do not say that they are all job platforms and they are pulling resources from different places to put in their website. You might see a particular job on one website and not see it on another, right? Sometimes you might see repetitive job openings, but do not let that deter you. Just keep searching and apply regardless. Don't forget, I'm always rooting for you. And those are the websites that you can use to apply for jobs. So right now, I'm going to tell you how to apply and actually stand out, because obviously there are jobs, but how are you applying? How are you putting yourself out there? Out of 100 people that are applying, would you even make the top 50 or top 20? So let's get into it. So the first one is you need to update your LinkedIn and your GitHub accounts. So GitHub might not necessarily be so important for everybody, especially maybe marketers, designers. GitHub is something really specific to developers. But in general, LinkedIn is actually very important. When someone applies for a job, the first thing that the company does is to check them out on LinkedIn before even going to other social media platforms. So you need to keep your LinkedIn up to date with, information about you, what you do, how you, probably your thought process, the places you've worked, the things that you've done, if you've volunteered, if you're learning and you have certifications, stuff like that. Because they want to see how proactive you are, they want to see your years of experience. It doesn't just end in your resume. Anybody can come up with a resume and just submit and apply for a job. So they need to see that social proof. And for the developers, you need to make sure that your GitHub account is up to date. You don't necessarily need to have daily contributions and all of that. You might not even have a project of your own. You might probably be someone that's just contributing to open source, or you have a project on your own, or you're building a product or something. Just make sure that anybody that is hiring you can go to your GitHub profile and they see something and they're like, okay, this person knows his or her onions. Okay, so the next thing you need to do is to write clear and ATS friendly resumes. Now, one thing you should understand is that there are some jobs that do get hundreds and thousands of applicants. I kid you not, hundreds and thousands. And sometimes you don't even get to hear from them back. They don't tell you your resume has been rejected. They don't tell you it did not make the cut. Nothing. They don't even hear from you. And then there are some that you apply to, and in splits of seconds or minutes, you get a rejection email, outright rejection. That is simply because they're using what we call an ATS software to help them sieve the resumes. So these softwares have been customized with certain parameters that a particular candidate needs to be met. So you need to make sure that your resume is tailored for that. That is why you get to hear people say, "Oh, you have to tailor your resume for a particular job application." How are you doing it? What are the keywords you're using in that resume? Does it correspond, with the job description or job posting? So you need to make sure that your resume is ATS friendly, whether you're sending it via email, whether you're applying on a job portal, whatever it is, make sure it is ATS friendly. You can't stand to lose any teeny weeny opportunity. So many talents have been cut off, because they didn't have a good resume that passed. Because how do you expect a human being to sit down and start sorting 200 or 500 or 1,000 resume applications? It's not possible. Okay, so the third thing I have here is that you need to create a portfolio. In most cases, it's not compulsory actually for a lot of fields. So, for instance, okay, let's say a community manager is also compulsory. Like, all you need to see is your resume, and you get to talk about the work you've done. Of course, they're going to ask you questions because community management is somewhat different. It's indirect marketing. They want to know how you think, they want to know how you communicate with people, they want to know a lot of things about you, which cannot really be covered in your portfolio, right? But that doesn't mean you shouldn't have a portfolio. Whichever field you are, I think it's really important that everybody has a portfolio because it gives an extended, presentation of what you've worked on, the things that you've done that you're not able to capture it in your resume. Obviously, you cannot capture everything in your resume. Your resume is supposed to be at least 1 or 2 pages long, depending on your number of years of experience. And even a top senior person shouldn't even have more than 2 pages of resume. So imagine having to squeeze in everything that you've done into just one page of resume. You're not going to have that space. So your resume is where you can be, sorry, your portfolio is where you can be as creative as possible. So try to have a portfolio. The next thing is send out strong application emails. I have been seeing a lot of things lying on Twitter, and I'm just so shocked as to how ignorant people are. You're looking for a job, that same job that you're looking for, hundreds of people are also looking for that same job. So why can't you be unique? Why can't you stand out? Most people send in application mails in the most insane way. I mean, from what I've seen on Twitter, some of them can be sarcastic, some of them can be like, I'm looking for a job, I'm broke, hire me. Or it just doesn't make sense. One thing you should know is that at the point of applying for a job, the person that will go through those job applications was once like you looking for a job. And I think looking for a job in all the stages of, working and job seeking stage, that's whole part of having to that send that initial email or that initial application is where you get humbled the most. The next part is the interview processes. You have to be humble, fam. You're trying to get into a company. There's no need to be rude or sarcastic or show them how Gen Z you are, right? So write strong emails. If you're writing an email, why are you writing that email? What will capture that person to want to take the extra step to look at your resume or to look at your portfolio? I always look at emails like application emails like a semi cover letter, but not too much. So you're like pointing out, you need to look at the job description, what they are looking for, and then in your application email or your cover letter, you try to capture in the skills that you have that can solve the problems that they have. Try to be different. You don't have to follow the trend or try to be a Gen Z, whatever. It's not gonna work. Companies are not smiling. Okay, so most importantly, you need to apply even if you did not meet 100%. And you know why I'm saying that? You are constantly growing. You're obviously not stuck in your career, you're growing, and that means you're showing potential. People don't just wake up and go to senior level or director level. Someone must have seen the work that they put in. Someone must have seen that, oh, this person is actually showing great potential. Let's give this person more responsibilities to handle. And that's how you grow. So apply, even if you don't meet up to 100%, apply, apply, apply. Okay, so the next set of things I'm going to talk about are mistakes. These are mistakes that you need to avoid when looking for a job. The first one, in job websites, the job websites that I just showed you, you have to make sure you filter these jobs to GMT plus 0 to GMT plus 3. We're currently, for those in Nigeria, we're currently in GMT plus 1, right? So if you can filter jobs between GMT plus 0 and 3, you'd be able to find something that works for you, at least a company that will not complain. Outside of that, there are other companies outside of those time zones that would actually still hire you, right? As long as you can prove to them that you're able to stay awake when they are sleeping, something like that. Like, you just need to, but for you to gain higher chances of hearing back, filter between these time zones. The next thing is you need to join communities. Most times job postings go on communities, and as members of communities you get to access it first. So let's say by the end of the day or by the end of the week, nobody within the community applies. That's why you get to see, you know those opportunities on social media. So try to join communities. There are communities like She Code Africa, Women in DeFi, Web3 Africa, that's for Web3 developers. There's just so many communities that you can join. Even your GDG, your local GDG communities, your Figma communities for designers. Like, there's so many communities for each of the roles or each of the fields. Cyber security people, data analysts. There are so many communities revolving around each of these tech fields that you can join. Half the time opportunities get posted there, and if you're part of the community you won't miss out on it. Okay, so the next thing is, don't sleep on referrals. Most times what you don't know is that companies will offer their staff a huge sum of money. Not even huge, like what I mean by huge could be as high as 500, as high as 1000 USD, as high as even 2000 USD, for them to refer someone that can actually work in the company. So when you look for that job and you see, this is very promising and I think I'm qualified, I have everything, try to look within your circle or look within your connections. Do you have someone that is already working in that company? Can you reach out to them? Can you strike a conversation and ask them about the company, their experience? Can you ask them if they can refer you? Sometimes people don't really care, like especially foreigners. They just want you to get in. Like, they tend to answer even faster. They just want you to get in, they get their bonus and everybody's happy, right? At this point every company is looking for a skilled worker. So if at the end of the day they are able to trust you enough to refer you and the company actually hires you, it's a win-win. So don't be scared. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? No, it's not going to kill you, it's not going to end your career. So go for it. And finally, do not wait to be ready. Apply even if you're still learning. Like, you never can tell where opportunities. Most times companies don't look out for top professionals, they're looking out for people that are still learning, people that are still early in their career, people that bring fresh perspective. So you might feel like you're not qualified or some, just apply. I mean, the worst they can say is no, we wanted someone with more experience in here. No problem, at least you've gone through that experience of applying and trying to tailor your resume and trying to tailor your application to that particular job role, right? So apply regardless. I've had that experience before where someone reached out to me. I was constantly active. By the way, if you're not subscribed to the Friday Extra, my newsletter, do subscribe. I do drop a lot of gems on these things, so you definitely need to even read the last issue. Yeah. So a while back, I got an opportunity to work as a head of community and marketing in a company. And it's not because I applied. First of all, if I had seen that job role, I would not apply, right? Because I haven't really worked in places where I could climb up that ladder to say, I'm now head of community. No. But because I was constantly, posting and being a thought leader, they reached out to me. We went through, I think, about 3 or 4 interview stages, and I got a good pay. So funny thing is, it was a contract role that I needed to just do something temporarily, obviously a startup, and that worked just fine. So you never can tell where these opportunities would come from. If I had seen that in a job website or whatever, I wouldn't have applied because I would feel like, I'm not qualified though. This one or that one. No. But the job came to me. So you never can tell when you're ready. Like even if you've been out of job for a long time, one thing you should do for yourself is continuously learn, continuously post, continuously talk about what you're doing. You know, you might be jobless, but actually learning, volunteering, and implementing the things you're learning, and then you climb the ladder faster than someone who's been working and has refused to take initiatives. So that will be all for today. I hope that this video helped you feel more confident about looking for and also applying for global remote opportunities. If you liked this video or if it was helpful to you in any way, feel free to share it with your friends and also drop a comment on suggestions on video that you would like me to push out more next. So I'll definitely take that into consideration and create a video that you will actually watch. Until my next one, see ya. Bye.